Welcome back to the Back to Me podcast. This is your host, Aidan O'Brien. Back to Me, for those of you who are new here, a very simple concept, a philosophy, a strategy, an approach, much easier than mainstream development. It's all about letting go of everything you are not, letting go of everything that you have collected, letting go of everything that's not truly you, so you can be left with what is you. If you take away everything that's non-truth, what are you left with? Truth. And you've collected a lot of non-truth in your life. And in the Back to Me podcast, every episode is about showing you how to let go of the non-truths, let go of the illusions, let go of the stories, everything that's not truly authentically you, and getting you back to you. And that's why it's called Back to Me. And that's what we're here to do, help you on your path back to your real self. You don't have to go and get it. You have it already. You are it already. You have to let go of everything that's in the way of you becoming the best you, revealing the best you to the world, and simply remembering who you are. That's the philosophy of Back to Me. So if you're new here, welcome. You can jump in at any episode, but I'd like you to go back to the start and listen all the way through. If you're coming back again, you've been here before, I appreciate you. Welcome back. It's very humbling that people are enjoying this podcast so much that listen over and over again to each episode. It's massively humbling. So thank you so much. If you haven't left a rating, please do leave a 5-star rating. That's how more and more people get the message, more and more people get the word. You're glad you found it. Well, help someone else find it. Okay, pass that forward. And leave a comment as well anytime. I'd love to hear from you. You can message me on Instagram at Aidan O'Brien Official. I love to hear from you guys. So today's episode, getting straight into it, is really a simple concept connected deeply to the title of the podcast, Back to Me. So we're talking about going from insecurity, which is ultimately uncertainty, to certainty. Okay, so from insecurity to certainty. And, one of the biggest things I see for clients, and I work with, hundreds of people directly a year, thousands of people directly and indirectly a year. And, I've been doing it for 15 years. I've seen the same stories. I've heard it all. I've seen it all. There's nothing you can say to me I haven't heard already, or a version of it. It doesn't matter what your story is. Most people, I would say, on a daily basis, okay, I mean, every single day of the week, they're having moments of insecurity and uncertainty. I know even in myself, how often I have to, address the mindset, to be the observer and to notice the mind when insecurities and uncertainties creep in. It's one of the biggest, I would say, I definitely think it's self-perpetuating. I think we created ourselves. I think we're all self-saboteurs in a lot of ways. But I think it's one of the most, hindering things that we do to ourselves. And oftentimes the mistake we make is we think it's something external. We think it's affected by external, but it's ultimately always coming back to us, which everything is. And it's really that insecurity, that uncertainty on a daily basis, how it's affecting every choice you are making. There are so many things you haven't gone and done because of the insecurity and uncertainty. There's so many choices that you've made, that the alternative choice probably would have been better for you, probably would have been more interesting, more exciting, more growth, more success, more fulfillment, but you didn't choose it yet. And that's the key part. Yet, everything is coming and it'll come back around. But when does it come back around? Does it come back later, easier, faster? Does it going to take way longer? All of these things we don't know. And that's why we should always take it when we can. Take the decision as soon as possible, because if it's there for you, it's ready for you, and you can't go wrong. You can't be found if you don't get lost. Everything is perfect. So when it comes, take it. Say yes. But that's not the reality for most people. The reality for most people is uncertainty, insecurity is constantly, a feature in their life. It's with them all the time. You're carrying it with you all the time. It's in your pocket. It's in your jeans. It's in your phone. It's in your head. It's in your heart. It's in your thoughts. It's in your language, your words you speak, your beliefs, your stories, the way you carry yourself. It's in your walk. It's everywhere. It's in your walk. It's in your talk. It's everywhere. And it's affecting you. It's affecting you more than you realize because they compound, all those choices compound. And the practice of making decisions from uncertainty and insecurity, that creates an outcome. If you practice anything over a period of time, it creates a result. It creates a habit, a system, a pattern, a program, and you get stuck in that, and it becomes more and more challenging to release yourself from it. So what I want to activate in you today is really the awareness. First of all, you've heard me say it before. Awareness is the first and most important key to change. Oftentimes people try to change the behavior or whatever the actuality may be without actually shifting the awareness first, without understanding what it is that's causing it first. So today I want you to shift your language. I want you to bring that into your mind, from insecurity to certainty, from uncertainty to certainty, to self-assurement. Okay. I don't know, is self-assurement even a word? Self-assuredness or self-assurement? I love the English language, but even sometimes it beats me. Someone let me know. Self-assuredness feels right as well. Self-assurement. I'm going to put both of them on the table, and you guys can let me know which you like best and which is actually correct. So let's stick with certainty for that, because of the uncertainty. Uncertainty is something that comes in life every moment, and we have to be okay with it. We have to be comfortable. And I believe a key component of successful people is they embrace that uncertainty. They embrace the unknown as part of being a visionary. You've heard me talk before about being a visionary. Like, for example, when you get used to that, even not knowing the word, and that's happened many times in the podcast. Yeah, I'm okay in the uncertainty. I'm okay not knowing. I'm okay being wrong. Because if you're worried all the time about being wrong or how you look or how you sound, you're always going to be dependent on everything being perfect. And rarely are things perfect. More than often, they're not at all. And all the successful companies I know and that and all the ones I know deeply from working with over the last 12, 13 years, they just get better at saying yes and figuring it out later. They get better at trusting themselves. And they don't always make the best decisions, and sometimes they make the wrong decision. But with the awareness, they'll make the adjustment and they'll be fixed sooner rather than later. As I said, you can't be found if you don't get lost. In some ways, you have to take the wrong turn. You have to go the wrong direction. Everything is perfect, right? Everything is perfect. And this is your first episode. You're probably wondering why he keeps saying that. Go back and listen to the other podcasts so you can understand why everything is perfect. Okay, why you have to trust. Why trust is the key ingredient for you to move forward. And we always say trust God, trust the universe, but you have to trust yourself, because you are both those other things as well. You have to trust. So first of all, bringing the awareness, that acknowledging in yourself, yes, sometimes I'm uncertain. Sometimes I'm insecure. I'm insecure about how I look and feel. Like, if you don't feel healthy, if you don't look healthy, if you're not fit, if you're not strong, if you're not in alignment, for me, one of the worst feelings is when I'm out of alignment with my physical body first. That's huge. Then that affects the mental side, and that affects the emotional side, and that affects the spiritual side. It's all connected. And oftentimes, and even the world today tries to tell you, yeah, it's okay to be a bit unhealthy and a bit like this, but as long as you're satisfied at work, or as long as you're in a good relationship, or as long as you're making money, none of that is true. You want coherence across the board. You want absolute coherence in all aspects of your life. You want synchronicity. You want balance to a certain degree. And I'm careful with the word balance, because I don't believe in balance. I think we have to become obsessed, actually. There's another episode I'm going to be doing shortly talking about why moderation is not the way forward. Like, I don't believe in moderation at all. Extreme is the only way, because, and some of you guys having resistance now as you're listening to this, but moderation is not. When was anything significant ever done in moderation? Okay, yes, there's value to tipping away, slow and steady, consistency. I'm not discounting that. But when you have 10 different things in your mind, how many things do you get done? It's like every New Year's, why people fail, really. And you haven't heard this unless you heard it from me earlier at my podcast last January or December. But the real reason resolutions don't get achieved is because people set out 10 different resolutions from 10 different areas of their life. I mean, everybody wants to be healthier and fitter, especially after the food comas and stuff over Christmas and the junk food. But people want to be healthier and fitter. Then they also want to be in a better relationship or a new relationship or our relationship. And they also want to be, getting a new job or changing job or starting a new business. They want so many different things in so many different areas of their life. Where does your brain focus? What does your brain choose first? What can your brain seek out? And we know this from neuroscience that our brain will focus on what's primary. Okay, and it will seek it out. It will search for it. It will identify it, recognize. Every new year, people have their eyes on 5 different things, so they cannot achieve anything. Your brain doesn't know where to focus. You're trying to be balanced. Balance is a disaster. Forget balance. Forget moderation. Go all in on something. Get burning hot. Get alive with something. And then once you've done that, you've achieved that, accomplished that, felt that, experienced that, the temperature comes down and you go somewhere else and put your attention into that. That's the key. And I'm working 15 years with people. I'm deeply, invested in myself and figuring the world out and psychology and the mind and human behavior. And this is what I've seen to be working. And you might say it's not for everybody. Well, that's a limiting belief. Okay, it just means you're not willing. That's what I've seen. We're different. No, you're just not willing. If we want something enough, we find a way, we do it. You're just not willing. Write it down. I'm just not willing. You just don't want it enough. Okay, you have to turn up your wanting power. You have to turn up your ability to decide, to make a decision. I say it all the time, the amount of people who reach out to me for coaching, mentoring, they book calls. I want it. I'm a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and they do nothing. They don't take action. They find reasons not to do it. It's all stories, justification. There's no real reason. You just don't want it enough. You don't want that vision enough, or you don't have the vision clear enough. You find excuses. I don't have the time. I have too many things going on. It's the money. I can't invest in myself. Get out of here. You're spending a fortune on clothes and travel and all these other things, temporary things. Every second inside your head, alive, awake, is key. It's affecting everything. The clarity of mind, the certainty of self, of your body, of your mind, of your language, the ability to influence and to lead and to affect and to move. It's powerful. What's that worth? What can you achieve? What can you create? What can you earn? It's limitless. But you I have too many things going on. Oh, I can't afford it right now. Oh, I have to, do this. It's nonsense. It's just illusion. It's your delusion, because you're just telling yourself stuff that's not true. Same things you tell yourself why you can't get up and go for a run. Oh, I'm not a runner. Why you can't go to the gym. I'm not really a gym person. Why I'm not a morning person. Why you can't get your ass out of bed. Why you can't stop eating sugar. Why you can't stop drinking coffee. Oh, I love my coffee. You just love yourself, your story, this identity, your ego. That's all you love. You love feeding your ego, and the world today is conditioning us to feed our ego more and more and more. It's a narcissistic world we live in today. Look at social media. Look at all the girls out there just every day taking photos, and the guys. But the girls in particular, like the amount of girls, it's become obsession. They're changing their face, their surgeries, just the obsession with selfies in every moment. It's just a narcissistic world we're getting into. And it's more and more rare when you see people standing in a line, not looking at the phone. Okay, sitting at a table, not looking at the phone, having a conversation, not checking the phone. It's just getting more and more rare. You're going to be like a divine archetype in 10 years if you can go anywhere without looking at your phone for a second. And we all do it. I'm as guilty as anybody, but I'm always in my awareness thinking, let me experience this without my phone. Let me do this. Even I was in Paris recently going through the Louvre. Yeah, it was cool to get a capture of the Mona Lisa and everything, but I stood in front of the Mona Lisa for so long without the phone. Every piece of art I stood without the phone because I wanted just to see it. I want to experience. I want to breathe it in. I want to feel it in my being, the energy, the frequency, the vibration, the emotion of it. But it's constant phones. And I'm not judging, because I've been like that too, and I do it as well. Like everybody, it's human nature. But again, back to me is the awareness to let go of that. Anything that's a habit, a pattern, a program that's not for our highest good and greatest joy. That's why we're here. And you might think, Aidan, yeah, well, relax. You don't take it in moderation. You don't need to be extreme. No. Your happiness has been in moderation for too long, and eventually what happens? It's not happiness, it's sadness, it's frustration, it's doubt, it's insecurity. And this episode is about going from insecurity to certainty. So to go from insecurity to certainty, we have to have clarity, know what we want, what we don't, what are our values, what are not, what we tolerate, what we don't, what are our boundaries, what aren't. That's what certainty, that's what gives you confidence, that's what gives you strength. You make a decision, you trust your word, you know yourself. That's what this is about. That's how you go from insecurity to certainty. Okay, so you have to be able to recognize within yourself the areas you've been soft, the areas you've been, you know, too pliable, too malleable. You want to be strong. You want to be able to bend like the branches so that, you know, you don't break when pressure comes. But you have to be able to bend and move without the fear of breaking. Oftentimes people are not taking action. They're up to here, but they're up to here in stories. They're not really pushed to the edge. You know, I had a client recently say he had a lot going on and he was busy and all this was happening, him and his girlfriend and a new job and new apartment. And I said, I have a client who's a CEO that do 400 million a year and he's 3 kids and does Ironmans. Like, you're single. You have a girlfriend, but you've no kids. You're not married. You don't have a house. You're not competing. You're not doing this and this and this. And I wasn't, again, putting someone down. It was just perspective. And he was like, you're absolutely right. Like, you know, I have another lady. She's, I think, 3 kids as well. She's the only woman on the board of India, Middle East, and Africa. A huge company, tens of thousands of employees. She's busy. She takes care of 4 or 5 different countries on a daily basis, plus her kids, plus her husband, plus the other things she does. Like, it's all about perspective. This thing, I don't have time, I don't have the money. No, you're spending money every day, every week, just not on you. You're investing in distractions, in superficial band-aids. You have to invest in you, coaching, mentoring, guidance, support, accountability for you, awareness to go from clarity to confidence to certainty to trust, to know who you are. Because then there's no thinking involved. So much of your mental strain every day is thinking, what should I do? What should I buy? What should I eat? It's all mental distraction. And you're wondering you don't have energy to do the things you have to do. And for me, when I'm coaching high performance entrepreneurs and business owners and senior level professionals, it's how do we get to certainty? How do we get to, you know yourself, you don't have to think? Because we only have so much decisions in us every day. We only have so much willpower every day inside us. You know, ability to tolerate the demands of the critical thinking and just weighing up the pros and cons and to make a decision. If we know who we are, what season we're in, what area of our life is burning hot right now, where we want to move fast, that gives us power. That gives us certainty. And then we create urgency. That urgency, that's how we get a fire going. We've movement, but purposeful movement. Okay? And that's what it's about. And that's the message today is you have to decide now to go from insecurity to certainty. From being unsure, you're unsure because you've created a habit of being unsure. You've created a practice of uncertainty, okay, of instability. And again, it's because you don't know yourself. You're not, because you don't question yourself, because you make too many conclusions. Because this is just the way it is. This is the way it is, and this and this. It's just, you know, I said this to another lady recently. You want this with one eye, but in the other eye is looking at what could happen, and then you're caught in this constant back and forth, this tug of war. Okay, just this pull and push against yourself. It's not even other people, it's yourself. You have so much more gifts and, you know, so much more treasure in your life and in your mind and in your heart and your body, so much more energy. You're not even acknowledging, recognizing, using. So that's my wish for you guys, is to get certainty. And how do we do it? By cutting out the noise, by letting go. And most of the stuff you have to let go of is within you. Free yourself from blaming other things, blaming other people, blaming other situations. Free yourself. It's a burden where it's their fault. It's his fault. It's her fault. Okay? It's really free yourself. And begin to find that certainty in small little decisions, step by step, little decisions, little choices. And you get quicker and quicker and quicker, and suddenly they get stronger and stronger. And suddenly you can stand in yourself, in your truth. Because all this other negotiating with yourself, you're betraying yourself. Because you end up choosing out of fear instead of out of your highest good and greatest joy. Every choice should be from love, from joy, from your highest good, for your highest good. That's the mission. And I just don't want to hear excuses from you. Because I don't want to hear excuses from myself. And I'm a master of excuses. I'm a master of justification. I mean, I speak for a living for the last 20 years. I'm so good at talking myself out of things, it's unbelievable. So I'm my number one product here. Okay, and we have to do that. We have to raise the bar for ourselves. And once we identify something in ourselves, we can identify it in others. And I see it in all of you. Even if I've never met you, I know you do it. I hear you already justifying, criticizing. Okay, just all the time waiting and waiting, delaying the stuff that's for you, the gifts, delaying your reveal, your growth. And I have it on my group programs. I see the wins every week in my back to me and back to me business. The wins are incredible. Yet the financial wins, the people growing their business is super cool and hitting targets, smashing targets and getting promotions and all that. I love it. Okay, and starting their new business and smashing their sales and all that kind of stuff. I love it. But the biggest wins are the people who always say they're moving through the world differently. You know, I've had clients tell me that for over 10 years, and that's to me the win. When you move through the world differently, when people see you different, when you feel different, when you navigate your family better, different, more for you, your highest good. You know, how many of you are struggling with navigating your family, with your sister, your brother, your parents, your cousin? You don't know, you're struggling for years with the same issues, same stories, same conversations. Imagine being able to know who you are and your position in that and let go of guilt and free yourself of guilt and find your truth and be able to walk that path fully without hesitating. And people notice you're different, and then more awareness so you don't get caught in reaction mode. You stay calm and you choose, and things don't take it as much out of you. They don't drain you anymore. Imagine what that would feel like. That's all there for you. You just got to learn how to do it. And on that note, click on the link below, book a call with me. Now is the time. Let's get some work done. Now it's your time. Now at the end of the year, it's time to get in motion. You don't want to be starting in January. You want to be already running in January. You want to be moving already in January. So start now. Get clear now. Click on the link below. You can book a call, or at least go into these episodes, dive into these episodes, and start applying. Okay, but for those who are serious, I look forward to hearing from you. There's so many of you ready, waiting to transform, to elevate, to ascend. And it is ascension. It's rising higher because there's vibration, there's high vibration and low vibration. That's very real. And you felt it, you feel it all the time. That's why you have to ascend. You might think, oh, it sounds funny, ascension. But you have to ascend. Do you want to go down? You want to go downhill, or you want to rise up? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Do you want to lift yourself? Do you want to lift your spirits? Do you want to uplift? You want to find certainty, clarity, confidence, self-assurance? Let's just stick with self-assurance instead of self-assurement or self-assuredness. Self-assurance is just simpler. So we found our way to self-assurance after all that, 20 minutes later, which is what I always use. So I can't even remember why I was coming up with self-assuredness or self-assurement. Why was I not just saying self-assurance? I have no idea. But here we are. That's one of those things that just happen. But we're live, we go with it, we navigate. And that's what you have to do. Navigate your life, trust yourself, and don't worry about if you make mistakes, because the only person not making mistakes is in the ground. And the only person without problems is in the ground. You're breathing today, you have an opportunity today. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to fall short. You're going to say the wrong thing. Right? I always say the wrong thing. I always write the wrong thing. I don't say always because I don't always, but I sometimes say the wrong thing. I sometimes write the wrong thing. I sometimes make the wrong impression. We all do, because there's chaos going on inside this head of ours. We can't always figure it out. But if we let that go without attention, that's where the insecurity and uncertainty and the chaos comes. We have to get the mind right, the mouth right, the energy right, the intention. So we all make mistakes. Forgive yourself if you made a mistake. If you did say the wrong thing, let it go. Forgive yourself. But also forgive someone else if they said the wrong thing. If you wrote the wrong thing in a message, in an email, to a client, to a friend, to a partner, forgive yourself. Let it go. We all make mistakes. As long as we're learning, growing, adapting, okay, constantly checking in, improving the awareness, being the observer, notice our patterns, notice our programs, cutting the paths that aren't for us, running fast down the paths that are for us, we will find certainty. Okay, that's today's episode. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're back, thank you. Let me know what you like. Send me a message on Instagram at Aidan O'Brien Official. If you want to speak with me, you can book a call below. Find out about coaching and mentoring. I do this every day. I'm coaching people from all over the world, 10 plus countries. I've been doing it for many, many years. Whatever you're going through, we can help you. We can figure it out. Clarity, confidence, strategy, accountability, creating change, high performance, personal or professional. It doesn't matter. Okay, just take a step. That's it for today's episode, guys. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.